Overwhelm doesn't happen to us. Overwhelm happens because of us. Hello everyone, Coach Kyle here, and today I want to talk about the concept of overwhelm, the feelings behind it, where I believe it comes from, and what we can do about it. So first and foremost, overwhelm is a choice, and I really want to explain that. We choose to feel overwhelmed. Now you might be thinking, well, I have all these things to take care of, and I have all these responsibilities, and I have so much to do that I'm overwhelmed by all those things. So how am I choosing to feel overwhelmed? And I totally understand what you're saying. But what I want to bring to light is, who created that to-do list? What is that to-do list for? Who is that to-do list for? And is this to-do list simply a doing list? Or is there any being in this to-do list? We want to remember that we're not human doings, we're human beings. So what is all of this for? Is it for us to become someone? Or is it for us to become someone who just constantly does things, who's constantly doing things? Is the to-do list created because we want to feel busy? Or is it because it's actually going to get us to be 1% better today than we were yesterday? What is it for? Who is it for? Who are you trying to impress with this to-do list? I know for me, so often I feel like the longer and the greater I make of a to-do list, the better I feel. I feel proud. I feel good. It's like, I have all these things to do. I must be such an important person. When in reality is, all I end up doing with that to-do list is maybe accomplishing half and then feeling like shit after because I haven't completed the other half. And there is that other sense of overwhelm. So we make these audacious plans for our days, and we never make it easy because easy makes it feel like it's not worth it. And so in order to make it hard, we add a bunch of things on, and the more things we add on, the more likely we are to feel overwhelmed. Now again, overwhelm is a choice. We are choosing to put all these things on our to-do list. If you picked one thing to do today, just one, and that was your only goal for the day, and you accomplished that goal, that's only one thing you did today, but you accomplished it. Are you going to feel overwhelmed? Maybe yes, maybe no. I say maybe yes because you have the opportunity to start telling yourself stories about how you didn't do enough, how you should be doing more, how your to-do list should have been bigger, how you should have accomplished more. Now all of a sudden you're thinking, I'm not far ahead enough in life, that I need to be farther ahead. I should have already been there by now. And the feelings of overwhelm come in. Now, we can't always control the thoughts that come in, but what I do want to remind you of is that you can create new ones. If you're telling yourself, I am overwhelmed, you can just as easily tell yourself, I am not overwhelmed. Now, to add the language even further, let's just get rid of the word overwhelmed altogether. If you're telling yourself I'm overwhelmed, tell yourself, I am feeling peace right now. And you might be thinking, how does that get me out of the equation? How does that make me stop feeling overwhelmed? Well, it's about what you're identifying with. If you constantly identify with the feeling of overwhelmed, then overwhelm will become part of your identity. The more often you repeat it, the more often it becomes some part of you, and you start to get comfortable with it, even though it feels uncomfortable. I remember a couple weeks ago, I was sitting on this same couch feeling overwhelmed. And the funny part about it was, I was sitting there feeling suffocated and anxious and all of these uncomfortable feelings. And so because I didn't want to feel uncomfortable, I put my feet up. I put my feet up because on some weird level, I wanted to feel comfortable within my discomfort. I wanted to feel comfortable with this feeling of overwhelm. Now, sometimes we go lay down, sometimes we grab a snack that's probably unhealthy to fuel that concept. We want to feel comfortable in the feeling of overwhelm. That concept right there should encourage you to see what I'm saying, that overwhelm is a choice. Overwhelm is something we choose to do by the thoughts that we're choosing to have, the focus we're choosing to have, the meaning we're attaching it to, and the physiology. If I see that to-do list and I do nothing, I'm choosing to do nothing. Therefore, I'm choosing to feel overwhelmed by the fact that I'm not taking action. It's always you versus you. And I know that's unfortunate to hear, but it is the most powerful thing that I want you to hear, is that it's always you versus you. So if you don't get it done, that's okay. If you do get it done, that's okay too. But your decision is the one that's going to decide who does what. If you get off the couch and if you don't. Overwhelm is not happening to you. It's happening because of you. And what we need to learn to move forward with is taking responsibility for that feeling. If you look behind me, you can see a whiteboard that has about 20-ish things on it. Some of them are done, some of them are not. Now, normally I would look at that whiteboard and say, ooh, I have so much to take care of. I don't know what I want to start with. And I would start to feel overwhelmed. But it's the things that I'm saying, I don't know which one to start with. There's so many things to take care of. How am I ever going to accomplish this? I'm not good enough to do all of these things. I'm not brave enough. All of these limiting belief systems that I've created around this concept. I could write 100 things on there and have the decision to feel overwhelmed or to not feel overwhelmed. The decision is mine. So some ways we can get out of this to support this space is, one, make a priority list that's small and easy. Stop making it so incredibly difficult that it's going to be extremely hard to accomplish. Start easy. Because if you start hard, you're not starting at your skill set. You're starting at your desired skill set. So we want to slowly work towards that. So right now, if you're just getting into to-do lists or goal setting or what have you, start small. Start really easy. Make it easy. And the easier you make it, the more accomplished you're going to feel because you've accomplished this goal. And then over time, you start to elevate that. You start to elevate it to the skill level that you are elevating to. So recognize your skill set. Number two, make a priority list. Make a simple, basic priority list. If you have if you have a to-do list of 12 different things, pick 2 or 3 of them. Forget the rest for today. Pick 2 or 3 of them. Only focus on those 2 or 3 because all it takes is a little bit of time to complete those. All it takes is your effort to get in there and start doing it. So do those 3 things. And if you get to none of the rest, that's okay. Because you focused on the top 3 and you accomplished those. Those were your biggest takeaways from the day. Go and do those. Another way to work through this overwhelm is just to simply to recognize consciously whenever you feel overwhelmed to remember that I am choosing this. I am choosing this reality. And so if I am choosing this reality and I don't like it and I'm uncomfortable with it and it feels like I'm suffocating, it's time to choose something different. So I implore you to choose something different. Choose peace, choose love, choose calm, choose grounded, choose something that's going to serve you. And once you start to practice that over and over again, this is not an overnight process. You just don't nip overwhelm in the butt. It'll come back. It's a constant practice of deciding what's happening in my life right now and what I'm choosing to suffer through or to succeed through. Choose joy, choose peace, choose love, choose something that's going to empower you. Choose decisiveness. If you choose decisiveness, you're not feeling overwhelmed because you're choosing to decide on something, which means you're going to decide on something in that to-do list. So I hope this helps. I appreciate you watching. And if you felt overwhelmed recently, comment below what happened and how you combated it. Overwhelm does sometimes subside on its own. And so I want to know from your perspective to share with the community what happened when you felt overwhelmed? Why did you feel overwhelmed? And looking back now, do you feel like it was a decision that you were making? Or do you feel like it was something that was happening to you? Work through those thoughts a little bit. Let's create a community around overwhelm because we all have it. We all experience it. I appreciate you. Have the most blissful day, and I will see you in the next video.